that, but the visual with the biotensor shows it up straight away.
Right.
But really, a lot of people who have the phone harmonisers often do come forward saying they've noticed a huge difference when they started using the phone harmoniser. Even their behaviour changes we've found with some people, especially teenagers who spend too much time on the phone. There's a huge emotional attachment to the phone.
Yes.
Or even the energy coming. What people don't realise is if you're on the phone to, say, a friend, and that friend's got emotional stuff going on, or there's an energetic entity in their field created by their emotional stuff, like Azura entity stuff, that energy can come through to you when you're on the phone.
Yeah.
It could be 100 miles away, and we've got programs on the phone harmonizer to prevent you being affected by their dirty energy, which will actually manifest through your phone.
Wow.
Just with some websites you look at, some websites have got toxic intent and toxic energy behind them. We've had to program
this is one of my concerns with social media. I just think you're just picking up energy from all these people.
Yep, exactly.
So what's the best way to protect yourself from that?
Phone harmonisers really help, and same with the Geocleanse. That has an effect on neutralising the charge coming from really dirty websites, so to speak, and that could be someone's Facebook page.
Yeah, just with unpleasant intent.
Exactly. Yeah.
And news sites as well, I guess.
Yeah, news is a common one, but I'll give you a really good example. With my bioresonance machine, last year, for example, we were on a few websites just researching histology to write programs for the bioresonance. And it was more of a, how do you put it, a hobby type of thing, just in quest for knowledge on playing with these types of tools. And we noticed that there were a couple of histology websites that every time we opened the pages up, the energy coming through was really toxic.
You were measuring it.
You could feel it.
You feel it, yeah.
Just by the screen. And some people were really heavily affected. That was before we developed the program for the Geocleanse to neutralise that energy.
Right.
Like I know some people, if they sit in front of the computer screen and put the wrong type of web content up, if there's something toxic coming from the source, so to speak, they're heavily affected, especially women who are menopausal and postmenopausal. But some of them can be very, very electro-hypersensitive.
So why do women get more electro-hypersensitive from menopause on? You probably explained this, but I don't think I quite got it.
It's usually the liver that's being affected, which is part of the endocrine system.
Right.
And it's a big organ. And the heart is also affected at the same time. So the heart energy changes, even though the heart's not part of the endocrine system, it's an integral part of the whole body. The heart energy changes and the liver energy changes, and both those organs are quite large in a sense, and they create quite large electromagnetic fields around them, and especially the liver. The liver is where you feel a lot of energy, and same with the heart, so where you also feel a lot of energy, a lot of emotion.
We're still blown away by the possible ramifications of getting these products installed in as many places as possible.
It cleans everything up. It cleans everything up.
Change history.
Yeah, I'll give you a good example of that in action. We do expos in Canberra, which is our capital city, every year, and we haven't been doing them many years. And when we first got to Canberra, we noticed that Canberra had this huge depression energy all over it, and it was quite unique.
Yeah.
The Geocleanse, when it goes into a house where you have the bioplasmic energy of depression over a large area, the Geocleanse actually has an effect on neutralising that charge over sometimes a square kilometre. Right. And we can actually demonstrate that.
The Geocleanse can affect a square kilometre.
Where for bioplasmic of depression and anger of that type, which is created by people in mass over a large area.
Right.
So the Geocleanse, when you look at Canberra, when we read Canberra these days, there's big holes in the depression and anger energy where it's not there anymore, because you can tell where the Geocleanses are. Okay. And now when I do readings for people, say here in Australia, we've probably sold more Geocleanse here in Australia than, say, the UK or America.
Yeah.
where I read there's no bioplasmic of anger and depression, it means to me there's a Geocleanse close by in that area.
Right.
Where there is the anger and depression, it means there's not one in that area to remove it. And that's a programming method we developed many years ago. What people don't realise was that leading up to 2012, there was another form of radiation. I called it very low frequency radiation. It was just a term that was spreading all over the world. And it gets on the conspiracy theory, way out theory side of where I think this was coming from, but I think it was being radionically developed with the use of very, very large mobile phone towers. And it was a mind control energy, and it was a very, very strong Earth radiation energy.
But you don't have that. You don't encounter that so much now.
Well, when we discovered it growing and its existence growing, which was quite alarming, we developed a program for the Geocleanse for that type of energy over a large area. Right. We had to do that because if you had a Geocleanse in a house and if you looked out your window at your neighbours or looked across at your view, if you had that dirty energy out there, when you look at it, you would take it on. It would cause radiation stress in the body, even though you were protected. So we had to develop a method of programming that extended it out to a kilometre or so. So when you were looking out your window, you weren't being affected. And so when we started really looking properly at bioplasmic radiation and trying to pull it all apart and understand what it's all about and the different types, we applied the same type of programming. And so then when you plug a Geocleanse in now where you have the depression energy over a large area, it's using the same mechanism to take it out of a large area.
So that's incredible. And, you know, from what I've seen, I really do, I find that very believable just from what I've seen so far, just in the last few months.
Well, so the reason that was being created was that, like, again, on the way outside of things, on the pendulum swinging the other way, there was a lot of talk about entering the photon belt and photon energy, and that photon belt, it's real, and that energy has a negative charge, and it's quite beneficial for humans, and that energy started to come through early 2011. I can actually remember sitting at my computer one day in the office and feeling and noticing the background of change in the energy, and then going outside and reading what was going on, and there was this massive negative charge that engulfed the planet. It was there for about half an hour, then it disappeared, would come and go, it was in flux.
Yeah. So how long did that go on?
That is still there now.
Still there.
It got stronger and stronger. The low frequency Earth radiation, I think, was being created to counteract this cosmic energy charge, because the cosmic energy charge creates a situation where people become more psychic. Right. And they become more psychic, they become more aware. Yeah. And that's, to some people, is a very dangerous thing. Yeah. But there are some people out there who believe that we all should be dumbed down and
they don't want people to be psychic because then they'd know things that they don't want them to know.
Exactly. Well, exactly. And things becoming so much more transparent these days in the media, especially
ridiculous now. It's becoming so it's getting so transparent, like you say. I don't know how many secrets can be held for much longer. You know, it's just that's the way things are, isn't it? Is that to do with something that's happening in terms of what you're talking about, or is that just to do with the spread of knowledge, or?
No, it's an effect of this charge coming from the photon belt. It's having an effect on every human. It's waking everyone up, and there are people out there who believe that we shouldn't be awake, and it's dangerous to be awake. So a counter method was secretly put in. But, you know, when we have solar flare activity, that knocks out that beautiful negative charge that's coming from the photon. If that is. When we have like Mercury in retrograde, that knocks it out, that takes that balance away. When we have no Mercury in retrograde or no weird planetary stuff going on, and we have no solar flare activity, you can actually feel the charge, and the ambient charge in the air is a lot higher.
Right. I was reading something about the personal beam and personal something else.
That's personal beam is something that it was a weird phenomenon that occurred quite a few years ago. They don't exist anymore. And this is for real. What we were finding in our consultancy work were these energy beams about that round. They came vertically out of the ground. They did a 90-degree turn, and they went straight through your neck when you're lying in bed.
Wow.
And they disappeared around quite a few years ago. Then they reappeared in another fashion, and they disappeared again. What caused them? Who knows? You know, we were just reporting and writing about what we had actually experienced time and time again in all the work in the houses for all those people out there.
Yeah. Well, people experience these things. It's just so nice to be able to talk openly about it in this very mechanistic, down-to-earth way, because people experience these energies.
Exactly. And then there's vertical beams that come down from the sky.
Yeah.
We experienced them for a period of time. Where they were coming from, I don't know.
Right.
Then we had vertical beams coming down from the sky, which would move around.
Yeah.
And they would attach to people and interfere with people's energy fields.
But would something like a Geocleanse take those?
That's in the programming in the past.
So you program, you study this, and you program all these things are programmed into the Geocleanse.
Yep.
So watch the same programming going in the other devices.
Exactly. So to cover that type of thing going on everywhere.
So it's all the same programming, just different devices for different situations.
Exactly. I remember going to a Woolworths one day, just standing in a corner and observing all these beams coming down and moving around, attaching to people. And the changing of the demeanour of the people when this energy attached to them. It was really bizarre. Like, you couldn't really say much to anyone about this.
No.
You just watch it and observe it and then work out how the hell are we going to keep this place clear from whatever it is.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm quite blown away, actually. Yeah.
There's a lot out there that we know of because it's our job and we watch it every day, that people just, like, as I said, we're going to write a book and all this information will go in the book.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that. Yeah, I've personally just completed a book, and I just know how hard work it is. It's hard work writing books, isn't it? Or maybe yours isn't hard to write.
Well, luckily, my partner Leanne, she's an ex-school teacher and she's really good, a really good scribe.
Yeah.
And she really takes a lot of notes with a lot of things. Like some of the books we read over the last 12 months to glean information about what's out there and what's going on. It's just amazing. But as you said, everyone has these skills. Everyone can do this.
Yeah.
It's just having a desire or will to do them.
So you're saying if anybody, I guess if they're living in Australia or if they're living elsewhere and they're willing to travel, they could develop these skills by studying with you?
Yep, we've thought of actually producing a DVD or something online, like a series of, maybe half-hour segments on, how to basically pick up on energy, how to use different energy reading tools, how to discern things. Yeah. Because anyone can do it. We all have the ability. Like, I'm no rocket scientist. It just comes to being curious in the very beginning.
Yeah, I know. I agree. We do all have these powers. We just don't. We just need to know we've got them and practice them and learn them. Yeah.
Because we use them all day, every day, anyway.
Exactly.
Unconsciously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's wonderful. I guess we should round up now because we've been talking for about, I think, an hour and 20 minutes or something. And I think we've covered everything I can think of so far. But thank you. That's just really amazing. It's so down to earth. This is potentially far out material, but you're so down to earth about it.
We have to be.
Yeah.